Welcome to A Course in Business Miracles. This is Heather Dominick, creator of BusinessMiracles.com and founder and leader of the highly sensitive entrepreneur movement. Join me today for some genuine practical assistance and a business-altering and life-changing experience, a business miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles, episode 37, the Transformational Process of AUK. Listen in to learn the meaning of AUK and how going through each important phase of AUK, A-U-K, will allow you to experience an actual shift and new way of being in your business as a highly sensitive entrepreneur. I recently shared this story and wanted to share it with all of you. I was coming home from a dance lesson, which is part of how I use my time off. So I'm in the process of mastering the waltz and the tango and the hustle. And I was coming home from my dance lesson, and I just walk to the studio from my apartment building, which is one of the things that I love about living in New York, is just walking everywhere. And I came up to this corner, which is just a frequent part of walking in New York. And the typical corner experience in New York is you walk up to the corner, the sign says walk or don't walk. It doesn't matter what the sign says. You look to see if a car is coming and will run you over, and if it's not, then you keep going. So I came up to the corner, and as I'm coming up to the corner, I'm suddenly hearing this woman yelling over to my left. And she's yelling very loudly, and enough where, as a New Yorker, I turn around. Because when someone's yelling in New York, there's lots of things that quickly tend to go through the mind, which is it a person who's crazy? Do I need to stay away? Does someone actually need help? Or is there, just some kind of protest or concert going on? She's behind me, over here, and I hear her yelling, and she's yelling, "Hold the bus! Please, please, somebody hold the bus, hold the bus." And she's very clear and direct. And it doesn't sound hysterical, but she is very clear. So I turn and I look and I see that it's this woman and she's blind. And the next thing that I see is I see a bus right here on the corner, which is where she's coming from, but she's heading in the opposite direction. So I have this moment of being confused, and there's another pedestrian woman standing next to me, and we look at each other. And meanwhile, the blind woman is walking, and again, she's yelling, "Hold the bus, please, help me hold the bus, hold the bus." And so as I'm watching her and I'm processing this quickly, which is a feat as a person who is highly sensitive, and suddenly I realize that she has just gotten off this bus, but she needs to get on the other bus that is behind me from where I had just come from. "Hold the bus, please, just hold the bus. Somebody help hold the bus." So I turn and I just move into action. And I walk by her very quickly and I grab her arm. I just touch her arm and I say, "I'm getting it. I'm holding the bus. I'm holding the bus." And not only is this a bus, but it's one of those long double buses. It's like a Caterpillar bus. So I'm really running, and I'm running up to the bus. It's passing one door to get to the other door, and the door is it's closed, and I'm knocking on the door. And that in itself is another feat for a person who's highly sensitive, because the bus drivers in New York tend to not be very welcoming. And they tend to not be very friendly, and especially to people who are knocking on their already closed doors. And so I'm knocking on, and she opens it, and she looks at me, and I say, there's a blind woman who needs help getting on the bus. And the bus driver's face just melts for a moment, and she says, okay. And so I turn and I say to the blind woman, I say, I've got the bus. And then the blind woman says, is it a standard bus? And I just don't even take the bus in New York myself, so I don't know. So I'm asking the bus driver, is this a standard bus? And the bus driver says, no, it's not. And no, it's not. She goes, that's okay. The blind woman says, I can take this bus. And I say, okay, great. And I help her on the bus, and she successfully gets on the bus. And then suddenly there's another pedestrian woman there, and she says to me, that was so kind what you did. And the blind woman is saying, thank you so much. And I said, you're welcome, absolutely. And I turn and I walk away. And it all happened within literally seconds. And as I turned and walked away, I felt as if I could just absolutely break down and sob. And I was so surprised. And I was like, wow, what is happening here? What is this emotional moment? And as I kept walking back to my apartment, I started going through the process of self-inquiry, and I'm just, from a space of curiosity, asking myself, what is this sob about? What is this well of emotion? And I realized it was a few different things. One, it was this woman was so clear in her ask. And she was so clear that someone would help. And she wasn't desperate. And she wasn't entitled. She was so clear. And I realized that I didn't know if I could have been myself that clear and that bold in my ask. That if I was really honest, the way that I typically would have tended to manage or handle that kind of moment for myself would be, I'll take care of it, I'll figure it out. And I would have stumbled around and bumped into people and maybe found my way into traffic and gotten hit by a car or who knows what. But I probably definitely would have missed the bus. So that she was so clear and so direct and so confident in her expectation for a miracle. Really, right? And not only did she get her bus, but she made sure that it wasn't a standard bus. So she was really specific about her ask. And then I also realized what was contributing to the moment of just swelling and welling up with this sob was that I was able to help her. And that I was centered enough in my HSE strengths that I could be available for service and assistance in a moment that could have, in the past, been so overwhelming to me that it would have freaked me out. I would have denied, I would have avoided, and just done that New York thing where somebody else can do it. And then I would have felt ashamed afterward. And in truth, in all honesty, I've had many moments where situations like that have played out in that more shame based way. And that I was able to be in my strengths. So I was able to respond, and then I was able to be of service, and I was able to be in my heart. And I didn't feel resentful. I didn't feel in any way like conscious or self-conscious about what I did or didn't do, or did I do it right? And so much so was I able to be in my strengths that not even a New York City bus driver could have stopped me. And that it happened so fast, as A Course in Miracles would say, in a holy instant. And that woman got to go where she was going. And I had the gift of everything that I just shared with you. But that moment could have played out differently. It was a moment like Dr. James Doty and his moments when all hell breaks loose. And I could have shut down and gone into hiding, or I could have pushed through to help her and then felt resentful. But all of it was so smooth and so heartfelt, so tender. And it took no energy, no effort. It was literally an experience of I was just being used as an instrument. At that moment, God said, "You're the one. You're going to help her get on the bus." And it's those moments that are available to us over and over and over again in our lives, but absolutely in our businesses. Deep breath in and let it out. So when we're willing to go through our coping mechanism by going through the heart, it opens us up to receive so much. So the ego mind and the superego voice will say, if you open your heart, then you will lose. Something will be taken from you. But in truth, it's the exact opposite. So we now want to look at how do we work with this heart opening? How do we work with this on an ongoing basis in our businesses? And this is where we go back to the coping cycle, and we add in another layer. And the other layer that we add in is the layer of AUK. So AUK, A-U-K. It is the way that I communicate the process of transformation. AUK. And so for those of you that this is new to, and those of you that this is a reminder for, so AUK is, A is for awareness, and U is for understanding, and K is for knowing. And we must go through those phases in order to experience an actual shift and new way of being. So awareness is the pretty easy part, right? To be aware, well, I say easy, but some people just never experience that. But to be aware, to have an awareness that something or some way that you're being isn't working. It's not allowing you to create what you want. And you're aware of it. You're like, wow, this isn't working, right? I'm aware this is not working. Without awareness, change is absolutely, truly impossible. Nixay, nothing. Because there's nothing to change if you're not aware of it, right? You just keep going on as things are. So you have to first have an awareness. Wait, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. This is not working. This is not what I want. And then from awareness, you go into a space of understanding. And understanding is the intellectual that I was talking about earlier. And that is, once you've had awareness, you can get to understanding. That comes from when you read a book, right? That comes from you hear a new idea. That comes from someone teaches you something. And your brain takes it in, and it computes it, and it says, I understand that concept. I understand that idea. And then there's knowing. And when you know, then you are in a space of embodiment. You have taken an awareness and a concept, and you have done the real work to own it. It is in your cells. And when you know it to the core of your core, then you are living differently. And then therefore your experience is different. When you just understand something, but things are still happening the way that they were before, that tells you you're only understanding it. And that is in the process of transformation where most people stop. They're like, I heard this, I get it, I understand this, why aren't things different? And I hear that a lot. And that's because the work has not been done to take in and embody. And the embodiment, the knowing, can only come through practice over and over and over again, consistently. So this is where that you've also, many of you heard me speak about, choice action happens between understanding and knowing. Because to move from understanding to knowing, we must be in process. Process, core practice, consistently. It must be a physical act. So, the physical movements that go along with AUK to help the body communicate this process to the brain is it goes like this. First, we have awareness, right? That's like the big umbrella. It's in the ethers, and we become aware. Oh, interesting. I think things need to be done differently. And then we start to study, and it becomes an understanding. We take in a concept. It goes from awareness to understanding. And then the understanding moves to knowing, and it's in your core center of self. But between the understanding and the knowing is the secret. I was like, what's that thing in The Wizard of Oz? Yellow brick road. From understanding, you must make a choice and then take an action, and then make another choice and take another action, and make another choice and take another action. Choice, action, choice, action, choice, action, choice, action. Over and over and over and over and over and over, consistently, core practice, consistently, core practice, process, process, bam. And then your way of being is different. And then the results that you experience in your business and life are different. They can't not be. because you are. Deep breath in and let it out. So I would like you to do this with me. So we have awareness, understanding, choice, action, 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 knowing. Deep breath in and let it out. And again, awareness, understanding, choice, action, 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 knowing. Deep breath in and let it out. And again, awareness, understanding, choice, action, 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 knowing. Deep breath in and let it out. And that's why transformation is not a quick fix. True transformation. And that's why the process is the goal. And as I like to say, everyone wants transformation, especially highly sensitives. We want transformation, but no one wants to change. Because to get here, things will actually have to be different. You actually have to do things differently. You have to be aware differently. You have to think differently. You have to act differently. And you have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Then it starts all over. Because you go to the next level. You go to the next layer of learning. So it's not a thing that you get done and check off your list, right? Great. Highly sensitive transformation. Check. It becomes a commitment to your way of being.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Course in Business Miracles. If you're ready to learn how to use your highly sensitive abilities to support you in being purposeful, profitable, and empowered rather than scattered, poor, and undervalued, take my free self-quiz to find out if you are indeed a highly sensitive entrepreneur. And if you are, along with your quiz results, you'll receive my free HSE Success Guide, which will teach you how to have your highly sensitive abilities working for you to create the results you desire in your business. Take the quiz and receive your free success guide now at www.hsequiz.com.